Give me 50.
I don't have it, Chancey. I just try stretch the little bit of money where you give me for make I buy me weekly groceries. Brandon school shoes, the heart of it was, and I can't find no money for make I buy me poor son a new pair. I told you about your expensive pastime, gambling out all your money and coming back home to ask me for more. I don't have it. Right now, I need a pedicure, a manicure, and a honey cure.
So you think I'm playing with you? What I do with my money is my business. I'm wide open. Is food ready?
Yes, Chancey.
What is this? What the hell is this? Beans? This is just pissing me off. I'm out there working hard. This the best you can do?
Chancey, the money you gave me already run out for this week. So I had to use what I had in the house.
You bought a new pair of shoes the other day, Courage. That's my money.
Chancey, stop! What are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mom. We got a call about a domestic violence incident. Is the perpetrator here? Does he have a weapon?
No, he doesn't have a weapon. He just left.
What happened here today?
Don't be afraid to tell the police what happened, Courage. Because domestic abuse is never the solution to what happened.
He beats me. My husband beats me. He punches me in my face and body repeatedly. Then he picks me up and slams me to the floor like I am nothing. I am in pain. Where is my children?
They're over at my house. Don't you worry. My daughter will take good care of them. You need help.
What is your name, Mom?
My name is Courage Graham.
And your husband's name?
Chancey Graham.
Where does he work?
My husband is a contractor. He has his own contracting business and is building a house on Hastings Street.
Describe him. What is he wearing?
He is wearing a blue pants and a white shirt. He is 5 feet 8 inches in height.
You will be taken to the hospital to get checked out and then taken to the police station to record a statement of the incident.
I will go with you. Let me tell you something. I was a member and a stand supporter of a very active organization called Belize Women Against Domestic Violence that was formed back in 1985 by Miss Dola Bowman, who was the president and the managing director. She is a very powerful woman. women came out all over the country saying that they were victims of abuse by their husbands and lovers. This women's movement, along with some men too, led by Miss Dorla Bowman, organized, lobbied, rallied, and fought for women's rights to make the government of Belize pass legislation that protected women and children from abuse. In fact, this powerful women's movement in the late 80s and early 90s had branches in every district of Belize. It got advice from top-notch foreign lawyers and our very own lawyer, Mrs. Denise Courtney. They followed the Commonwealth model legislation and drafted the Domestic Violence and Sexual Offenses Bill. They handed over to the government and said, pass these. Miss Dorla Bowman spearheaded the countrywide campaign for domestic violence legal reform. Many women throughout the country of Belize signed a petition and lobbied with the House of Representatives to put in place laws that protected victims and survivors of domestic violence. Back then, there were no laws in place that protected women and children. Are you hearing me? Nothing. But that changed. I was right there, right beside Miss Dorla Bowman and the mass of women that came out countrywide to Independence Hill at the House of Representatives on the 6th of November, 1992. And then, on the 1st of March, 1993, the Domestic Violence Act was brought into full force. I will never forget that victorious day. The weather was threatening to rain though, but rain couldn't stop our women's rights jam. Domestic violence is a crime. Stick with me and I'll walk with you through the system. Let's go. How are you feeling, Courage?
My face is hurting me, my backs, and my eye feels swollen.
They are swollen. Don't you worry, hon. You will get through this, and I will be right here by your side. I will let you know how the system works. The doctor is filling out a gender-based referral form. She will give you 2 copies. 1 copy you will give to the police at the police station when you record your statement. The doctor will also give you a report of your injuries, which you will also give to the police.
You think I should go through with this?
Of course, hon. No woman should be abused by the one who claims to love her. The Belize Women Against Domestic Violence wrote the laws about this type of abuse and other types of abuses. And they put in place stiff penalties to send out a strong message from preventing these incidents from occurring. Back then, men were beating women like they were punching bags for stress release. But that changed when women like Sylvia Vargas, Louise Smith, Anna Kwan, Irma Carballo, Ilia Casino, Yolda Rosado, Don Usher, Carolyn Westby-Claire, and Hortense Bowman all came together under the leadership of Miss Dorla Bowman and put this problem in check. And the penalties, Courage, only get stiffer today due to the amendments. So don't you worry. You will get through this.
You know, that name, Dorla Bowman, rings a bell. Is she dead?
Dead? She's alive and kicking. You know, The men used to call her Dorland No Man because of what she did for the women. But she ain't tripping. She still elevates women from downtown Punta Gorda, and she runs Building People Movement. This organization makes every woman access their legal rights and services in a plain tin booklet so that every woman, man, and child can understand it.
I didn't know about this.
There's a lot you need to know. Stick with me and I'll show you the ropes. The police will take you over to the Belize Family Court, there to apply for an interprotection order, a protection order, and an occupation order. The interprotection order keeps your husband away from you. So, this is only given for a short period of time. The protection order is given on the day of the court hearing when you and your husband tell an account of what had happened. The protection order can be given for a maximum of 3 years. The abuser cannot come to the house to hurt you. He cannot contact you, text you, or send messages to you through someone else. He should not be seen in your sight. And if he disobeys the court's order, he will be picked up and taken straight to jail. Remember, ask for a protection order for you and your children because they too are suffering. The occupation order gives you and your children the right to remain in the house to enjoy all its comforts and conveniences. Or else, where will you and your children go? At your parents' house? They don't have all the comfort and conveniences. And besides, where will you and your children sleep? On top of each other? The abuser will be taken out of the house. And he cannot take anything, even if he bought it.
Wait. So you mean he can't take the TV, the stove, or the refrigerator that he bought?
No, only his clothes.
Hey.
The doctor will see you now, Mrs. Graham.
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Here, you can leave now. Take this with you.
Let's go.
And then he left, but not before kicking over a chair.
Miss Graham, let me see if I recorded this correctly. I, Mrs. Courage Graham, 36-year-old housewife at 10th Noah Param Street, Belize City, lives with my husband Chancey Graham, 45-year-old contractor, and our 2 children, Brandon Graham, 9-year-old, and Samantha Graham, 5-year-old. My husband came home from work midday and I served him stew beans with flour tortilla for lunch. He got extremely mad with me because he wanted steak. I told him the money he gave me wasn't enough to buy steak. So I cooked what I had in the house. He accused me of mismanaging his money, spending it on a pair of shoes I bought last month. It happened so fast. He swept the food off the table and hastily jumped up and started to punch me in my face and body repeatedly. I fell to the floor and he continued to punch me despite my cries. He called me stupid for serving him stew beans and flour tortilla twice this week. He then picked me up and slammed me hard to the floor. Finally, he left, but not before kicking over the chair. Miss Graham, is this correct?
Yes, officer.
Miss Graham, please read and sign the statement. Do you want to press charges against your husband?
Yes, officer.
Miss Graham, I will take you to the Belize Family Court to apply for an interim protection and a protection order. The police are looking for your husband and will bring him in for questioning. We will prepare a charge sheet and will hold him for 48 hours. Then, we will take him directly to court to answer his charges. He gets no bail.
I will apply for the occupation order too. Thank you, officer. Do you think I should go through with this? You know what? I know it's my fault. Maybe I should have served him stewed beans twice in 1 week. It's my fault. I know it's my fault.
It is normal to feel this way, Courage. Victims sometimes blame themselves for the abuse. If it wasn't over beans, it would have been over something else. But no man shall put a hand on you. Abuse is all about power and control. There is a reason and a rhyme for this pattern of behavior. It is called the cycle of abuse. First, there is the tension phase, where tension mounts and small outbursts occurs, and the use of threatening words to harm you and your children. The abuser might even try to put you down by calling you insulting names. You will feel like you are walking on eggshells. Then, there is the abusive phase, which you have experienced today. And lastly, there is the honeymoon phase, whereby the abuser promises you not to abuse you again. He takes you out to eat. He even gets lovey-dovey with you. He buys you gifts. And then, you know, women sometimes believes this. And then what happened again? The cycle repeats itself. Bam, bam, you get slapped up all over again.
You're right. I walk on eggshells a lot. He likes to come from behind me, hug me tight, pat me on my butt just to make up with me.
Abuse is not only physical. There is sexual, economic, and emotional abuse. Men tend to rape their wives just to take power and control. They even withhold money or limit the money they give to their wives to buy the house needs. The emotional abuse is the worst kind. They insult their women just to take power and control too. They even devalue them and isolate them from friends and family so that they do not have anyone to talk to about their problems.
Yes, yes.
These things affect you psychologically, and the children who witness it, they are left traumatized. They may even grow up to be abusers or may even choose abusive partners. They may even experience the effects of adverse childhood experiences like anxiety, depression, heart disease, or other health conditions when they grow into adults. Abuse has far-reaching effects.
Brandon is acting out at school, his teacher said. And Sammy is peeing her bed and does not want to play with the other children at school.
Those children have seen too much in that house. They will need counseling and a safe place to live. And that is why we are here. When you go in to speak with the intake officer, make sure you tell her everything. Let her know how you fear for your life. Tell her you want your husband to stay away from you and your children because the abuse is affecting your children too. And one more thing, apply for a tenancy order. The court will order your husband to pay all the utility bills. This includes the mortgage, the light, the water, the cable, the internet. He must even provide food for you and your children, and must pay maintenance for your children too. And that is the power of the tenancy order. The intake officer will now take you in to go and see the magistrate to apply for an interim protection order.
Mom, please come in. How can I help you?
I am here to apply for an interim protection order.
Don't worry, my dear. Everything will be alright. Just sit down while I do my paperwork. I will also arrange for you to see the magistrate.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know who is Nora Parham?
No? Who is she?
Nora Parham was a beautiful East Indian woman, just like you, and the same age. She was the first and only woman in the history of Belize to have been executed.
But why?
She was convicted of the murder of her common law husband. Despite all the complaints she went and told the police officers only made a laughing stock of her.
So she killed him?
One day, he approached her and hit her on the head with a stick. She threw gasoline on him and she ran through the door. She said she was inside the house when she heard screaming. And when she came out, she found her husband on flames.
So nobody tried to save her from the gallows?
She was executed. Although thousands of women all over the country of Belize signed a petition asking the government to grant her mercy. The government said that they didn't want to interfere with the verdict of the court. So she was executed. Now, there is a shelter for battered women and children. This shelter is called the Havens House, which was established by Miss Dorla Bowman on the 29th of January, 1993. This shelter is for battered women and children. Then she went on to build another building. This building is for victims of domestic violence. Monies and all the resources to do all this came from the Belize City Council, the government of Belize, British High Commissions for Refugees, and the British High Commissions. Lady Maggie and Dorla Rosado and the Havens House were instrumental in making this a reality. This new building was opened in 1995.
Miss Graham?
Good day, Miss Common.
Good day, Your Honor.
Tell me how you got those scars and bruises to your face and your body.
Your Honor, it happened so fast. My husband came home for lunch today, and I served him stewed beans with tortilla for lunch. He got extremely mad with me because he wanted steak. I told him I didn't have enough money to buy his steak, so I used what I have in the house. He accused me of mismanaging his money by using it on buying a pair of shoes I bought last month. He then picked me up and slammed me to the floor like I am nothing.
And is this the first time he's hitting you?
No, Your Honor.
How long have you two been married?
6 years.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen, Miss Common. I'm granting you an interim protection order. So go home and then return to court for your hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Chancellor Graham?
Yes, officer.
Your wife just made a report about a domestic incident. You are wanted for questioning in connection with that report. Officer, lock him up.
Wait, jail time?
You beat her because she served you stew beans for lunch. Is that right, Mr. Graham?
Well, officer, you see, she served big man stew beans twice this week. She took my money for steak and she bought herself a new pair of shoes. That's why I beat her, officer.
Do you know beating a woman is a crime? Any form of violence is against the law. Physical, sexual, emotional, and economic abuses all have legal charges. You could be put out of your house or even worse, sent to jail. The charge sheet is prepared. You are charged with the assault and battering of Courage Graham. You will be held here for 48 hours, after which you will be sent to the Belize Family Court to answer these charges. Officer, send him to the jail.
Mr. Chancey Graham, what are you doing in my court?
Well, you see, Your Honor, I came home yesterday and found out my wife cooked them stew beans for me twice in 1 week. I asked her, what happened to steak? Where he went? She got cute, man. She said, I'm doing the best I can with the little bit of money you gave me. I said, that can't be right, considering you just bought yourself a new pair of shoes the other day. So I beat her, Your Honor.
What happened next?
She fell to the ground.
What did you do next, Mr. Graham?
Well, you see, Your Honor, I'm a family man and my kids are right there. So I left.
So you didn't bend down and continue to hit her?
Oh no, Your Honor.
And you didn't pick her up and slam her to the floor?
No.
So what do you think account for the bruises on her face and her body?
I don't know, Your Honor. She must have fell and hit her head.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Go ahead, Courage.
My husband, Chancey Graham, have a gun over the ledge of our door so that I can see it. He threatens to hurt me if I ever leave him. I fear for my life.
Courage, Why are you just telling me this?
Your Honor, I just found the courage to speak about this.
That is a bully move, Mr. Graham. A constant threat hanging over your wife's head. Evidence is physical, psychological, economic, and emotional abuse. These are criminal acts and direct violations of the Domestic Violence Act, passed into law the 6th of November, 1992. You are hereby guilty for attempting to harm, the battering, and the assault of Miss Courage Graham. I grant Miss Courage Graham and her 2 children a 1-year protection order. You cannot contact them in any way. You cannot be seen in the same area as them. A breach in any of my orders will result in immediate imprisonment. This is effective today. I grant Miss Courage Graham an occupation order for 1 year. She and her children shall occupy the premise at number 10 Noroparam Street, Belize City. She and her children shall enjoy all the comforts and convenience of living in that home. You cannot occupy the said premise, neither visit nor remove any items from there except your own clothing. That is with police supervision, of course. Even if you bought items, you cannot remove it from there. This is effective today. Finally, I grant Miss Courage Graham a tenancy order for a period of 1 year. You will continue to pay all the bills regarding the said property at number 10 or Param Street, Belize City. You will continue to pay rent, mortgage if any, water, lights, cable, and internet bill. You will also continue to provide food and maintenance allowance for Miss Courage Graham, Samantha Graham, and Brandon Graham. This is effective today. A failure to make any of these payments is an offense and is liable to a fine of up to $9,000 or 12 months in confinement, or even both. A breach in any of these charges will result in immediate imprisonment. The clerk of court shall prepare these court charges. This case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I guess police locked me up.
Miss Hope, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me through this.
No problem, hon. You should know your rights so that you can ask what is rightly yours.
Miss Hope, thank you.
Remember your things and only your things.
Yes, officer.
Domestic violence is a serious crime. There is no justification for abuse. The laws protect survivors and victims from further abuse. Perpetrators who disobey the law are jailed. Women, know your rights.
I am an abuser. I use my tactics to dominate my lover, loved ones, and even family members. It makes me feel powerful. I abuse because I have low self-worth and I feel like I must control them so they won't leave me. I create an abusive cycle whereby first I build tension, next I bother them, then I carry them out for a honeymoon and tell them I won't abuse them anymore. Sometimes I give them gifts and say sweet words. I take them out. I tell them I won't do it again, but I lie. Woman, no, you're right.
I am a victim and a survivor of a domestic violence act. I stay because of my children. I don't want my children to grow up without a father. I have economic dependency on my partner. I lack survival skills. I fear for my life and for the lives of my children. Sometimes I don't even know it's abuse. So, woman, know your rights.
I suffer from the effect of abuse in my home. I get trouble at school, my grades go down.
I suffer from the effects of abuse in my home too. I pee my bed, start sucking my fingers, have a stomach ache every time my mom gets sick. I cry a lot because I'm sad.
Domestic violence is a complex of increasingly frequent and harmful physical, sexual, economic, psychological, and harmful behaviors used to control the victims. Time to break the silence, because silence is violence. Woman, you still have value. Connect to your value. Woman lives matter. Woman, know your right.
Domestic violence can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, race, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, whether physical or psychological.
It can negatively impact our society as it creates a vicious cycle and affects families, especially if children are involved. As a society, let us empower victims rather than stigmatize them so that they can seek help and put an end to domestic violence.
Woman, know your rights.